The communal dining area in Kontoo Industries HQ was a space of quiet utility, designed less for comfort and more for efficiency. Long, rectangular metal tables lined the room in neat rows, their slightly worn surfaces reflecting the stark, fluorescent lighting overhead. Chairs with simple steel frames and black cushions were arranged with clinical precision. The walls, painted a muted gray, held the occasional framed safety poster or chart detailing facility protocols. The air smelled faintly of disinfectant and reheated food, carried on the steady hum of the ventilation system. Large windows on one side of the room overlooked an inner courtyard filled with sparse vegetation, a deliberate nod to the outside world that felt distant amidst the labyrinth of corridors. In the far corner, an automated food station dispensed trays loaded with pre-selected meals, the quiet whir of machinery blending into the soft clatter of utensils and trays. Conversations bubbled throughout the space, subdued but steady, as staff took their breaks amidst the buzz of the facility's operations. Dr. Lena Cho from the pharmaceutical innovation sector settled at one of the middle tables, her tray bearing a plate of pasta and a small green salad. She sighed lightly as she leaned back, savoring the short pause in her day. It had been a hectic morning spent analyzing the results of a new gene therapy trial, and her mind was still churning over the data. But as she took her first bite, the sight of a familiar figure approaching brought a faint smile to her face. "Room for one more?" asked Marcus Hale, senior officer from the security and defense sector, his tray balanced casually in one hand. "Of course," Lena replied, nudging a chair out with her foot. Marcus sat down with a thud, setting his tray, a hearty serving of grilled chicken and rice, onto the table. His uniform was crisp, but the weariness in his posture hinted at the grueling training drills he had likely overseen that morning. "How's the gene wizardry going?" he asked, a smirk tugging at the corners of his mouth. "Exhausting," Lena replied with a laugh. "But promising. The efficacy rate is improving, and we're seeing fewer side effects. I'm cautiously optimistic." She twirled her fork in the pasta. "How about you? Did you terrorize any rookies today?" Marcus grinned, spearing a piece of chicken. "Only 2 passed out during drills, lightweights. But, hey, progress. One of them actually remembered to secure their gear for once. That's a win in my book." Before Lena could respond, a third tray clattered onto the table. They looked up to see Anika Patel, an engineer from the robotics and AI development sector, dropping into the chair across from them. Her jumpsuit was streaked with grease, and she had a slightly frazzled look, as if she'd just emerged from a battle with some uncooperative machinery. "Long morning," Lena guessed. "You have no idea," Anika groaned, tearing open a packet of crackers. "The drones hate me today. I swear," one of them started spinning in circles like it was auditioning for a dance competition. Marcus chuckled, leaning back in his chair. "Drones with minds of their own? That's not a comforting thought." "Oh, they have minds, all right," Anika quipped, rolling her eyes. "Just not the kind we want. I think I found the culprit, a glitch in the adaptive response coding. It's like trying to teach a toddler quantum physics." Lena smiled sympathetically. "I'll take drones over gene sequences any day. I spent the whole morning trying to figure out why our therapy isn't binding properly to the neural pathways. Turns out one of the cultures had a mutation we weren't expecting." "That sounds horrifying," Anika said, popping a cracker into her mouth. "How do you even deal with that without losing your mind?" "Lots of coffee," Lena replied dryly. "Though I think the stuff here could double as a chemical weapon." "You're not wrong," Anika said with mock solemnity. "I'm convinced it's fuel grade." Marcus smirked. "You both clearly haven't experienced real coffee. I keep a stash in the security hub, actual beans, freshly ground. Swing by sometime, and I'll show you what coffee is supposed to taste like. Lena raised an eyebrow. Is this your way of recruiting people to the dark side? Absolutely, Marcus replied. We even have cookies. The table erupted in laughter, the tension of their mornings momentarily forgotten. As the noise settled, Anika leaned forward, curiosity sparking in her eyes. Okay, real talk, she said, glancing between them. What's the weirdest thing you've had to deal with this week? For me, it's got to be that drone. Watching it flail around like a confused cat was almost worth the headache. Lena tapped her fork against her tray, thinking. We had a batch of cells, just collapse. No warning, no external contamination. It was like they collectively decided to give up. I still don't know why. Ghost cells, Marcus deadpanned. Definitely haunted. Don't even joke, Lena said, pointing her fork at him. We don't need ghost cells on top of everything else. Marcus chuckled and turned to Anika. Haunted drones could be fun, though. Think of the security applications. Oh, sure, Anika shot back, grinning. Let me just program them to wail like banshees while they patrol the perimeter. Lena laughed, shaking her head. You're both ridiculous. Ridiculous but effective, Marcus said, finishing off his rice. Speaking of which, I've got to get back to whipping the rookies into shape. You two have fun with your haunted science projects. Don't scare them too much, Anika called as Marcus stood, grabbing his tray. No promises, Marcus replied, flashing a grin before heading for the tray return rack. Lena and Anika lingered for a few moments longer, the conversation shifting to a lighter tone. They shared a few jokes about the facility's overly complex protocols before finally heading back to their respective sectors, the buzz of the dining area fading behind them. As the sterile halls of Kontoo Industries HQ swallowed them once more, the camaraderie they'd shared during lunch lingered, a small, human connection amidst the relentless drive of innovation and progress.